Franchisee India for setting up this webinar, a very, very critical webinar series that they are starting. So it will be very, very helpful for the attendees and the majority of the MSMEs during this crisis time, and see how they can basically take benefit out of the technology, the learning that they do in these various webinars. So today the theme of my session is going to be leveraging technology and to accelerate your business. How do you leverage technology to accelerate your business? So broadly, if you see, the theme is based on, I represent Tally Solutions. So Tally has been a technology partner for many of the MSMEs for over 33 years. And we have close to about 80-85% of the market share, especially with the MSME segment. So the main theme of my presentation today would be revolving around Tally. So basically what I would be presenting is that how do you leverage your existing business solution software, and how can you be on top of your business operations, and you can take informed business decision based on the various features and functionalities that are already available. I'm sure some of you or many of you would be leveraging on these features, but nevertheless, I would want to bring those relevance of how critical and important at this point, this juncture for all the businesses to basically, survive, thrive, and accelerate their business. So the pandemic, we are going through one of the worst, crisis of the century, and the pandemic is posing a major threat to majority of MSMEs. Things are getting worse day by day, and the alarming rate at which the COVID cases are increasing, it's really casting a gloomy uncertainty. Nevertheless, we have to move forward under the current circumstances. We have to keep resolving challenges. The greatest gift that we have is resilience. Now, this is the time, it is very important. This is the time that you have to make bold and hard decisions to move your business into business 2.0. So you must have in many forums that, the terminology of technology and digitization. As a country, we are embarking on a great moment of vocal for local, and this is the right time to start the journey to reach the goal. The biggest challenge will be competing with the global market, where already there are killers out there. Now, digitization has become the forefront of our over the recent year. The transformation has impacted uh, at different degrees and in all areas of the sector. The major difference between the adoption of technology earlier and now is, earlier we had an option to choose a technology or adopt a technology. But now, the way the things are progressing, you have no choice but to embrace technology. Begin with affordable technology to sustain, survive, and thrive. So, one of the very interesting recent survey, one of the very interesting uh, statistics that we got is, 70% of 70% of the SMEs are still offline. And very interestingly, the reason cited was lack of knowledge and guidance in using these tools, cost of investing into these technologies, and lack of skilled talents and managing them were among the key, challenges that were, stated during the survey. Now, this basically, if you see, it clearly indicates that the MSMEs are not tech savvy, but tech shy. Now, the Corona crisis has changed, and we are experiencing this, and it will bring a major change in the way the business are conducted. So we basically are, talking about the new norm. So we have to consider every crisis as an opportunity, And whenever crisis occurs, wealth and value are transferred through creativity and readiness to seize all new opportunities that are there. So what is that? What is the future that we have? Basically the future will be mostly driven by technology, digitization, and the era of digitization is definitely going to help the MSMEs in trimming the cost. So you have to strive towards garnering awareness and know the benefit of deploying technology in your business and your operations. So basically, what I would be, conducting during this session is basically the three very important C's to take care of your business or have a better control over your business. So the first C is definitely the cash flow management. What are the ways, what are the methods that you can adopt in your organization so that you are able to be on top of your cash flow and see how you are able to manage your working capital, and what are those critical things which basically a little bit of attention towards that, and little bit of uh, using the tech in managing those things is going to definitely help you. And we will see what techniques or what features of Tally that you can use for basically managing your cash flow, uh, cash flow in your organization. The second is, yes, very important thing is cutting the cost. Now there are, see, basically we know that there are two kinds of costs. One is a cost which is visible, so we know that these are the visible costs that are there. The most important thing, in fact, in many of my sessions over the years that I've been conducting, one thing that I've noticed is, like during my interactions, many of the MSMEs, basically they are not aware of the hidden cost and the sunken cost, like how these costs are going to basically save a lot of expenses, where you can bring the cost cutting part of it, right? So we will see what are the measures that you can do to have your cost cutting. And definitely, yes, the most important thing is choosing the right technology. So what are the right technology? You have a business solution software, or accounting software, or an ERP, right? So whether you are using Tally or any software. So basically now, in my upcoming slide, I'm talking about how you can manage your cash flow and your cost cutting techniques. Is basically you have to explore and see whether you are able to, achieve this thing in your whatever software that you are using. So the first thing is basically managing receivables. Now, the receivables is going to be a major part. So there are two things which is actually, influence the cash flow management. One is definitely your outstanding management, and the second one is your inventory, right? So in managing the receivables, what are the things that you would have to do? So now broadly we know that every business are struggling, and collecting money is going to be a very difficult task, because your supplier is a customer to somebody else, right? So what do we need to do? So broadly, I think probably you would have come out with various processes and strategies to ensure that how you can manage your receivable thing. So one thing what I would suggest is that you should now apply the Pareto's principle, which is 80-20. So you have to see what is that 20% of your customer, who is the 20% of your customer who is going to give you 80% of your business. Now with rest of them, and including the 20% of them, what are the features that you can use if you are already using Tally, and how you can manage your receivable, right? So one is that basically, can you see, generally what happens, credit period, something you decide based on various factors and your strategy that you apply. Now, is there a way where you can set a default credit period for all your customers, and track them and make sure that the outstandings are not overdue? Number two is basically, what is that we can do? Can you specify a credit limit? So generally what happens now, it is very difficult. Normally you make a credit sale, people are going to keep coming and buying. But then how can you now, so using whatever the strategy, so you would probably now know what are the customers to whom, to what extent you would want to extend the credit limit. So assume that a customer A, you want to extend a credit limit of up to, to be on the safer side, you want to have a credit limit of say 1,50,000, 2 lakh, 5 lakh, whatever is the amount that you think. So is there a way where you can set up that credit limit so that you can bring in controls over your invoicing? The third aspect that we are going to see is basically when you are invoicing, is there a way where you get a visibility? So if there is an outstanding already, and if that particular outstanding is overdue, and if you are billing further to that particular customer, is there a way where the software that you are using, does it throw some uh, um, information, or does it pop up some message and just remind you of the overdue bill? So we will see how we can handle this in Tally. The last but not the least is very important. Now, this is what I was talking about, the sunken cost. So the amount which is outstanding. See, normally the businesses, I'm like majority of the businesses, they go in for an external capital where, they borrow, they take loans, and normally, like it's a CC limit or the OD limit. And on all your borrowed loan, see, basically what you do is basically you have to pay an interest on your borrowed loan. Now, every sale that you're making, every credit sale that you're making to your customer is basically you are giving them the working capital without interest. Now, the number of days of credit limit that you're going to ascertain depends on various factors, which you would have strategized. And then, so let's assume that you have an average of say 30-day credit period. So there are some data points which basically allows you to make that particular decision. Now, any money that is pending beyond the credit period or sustainable period of your credit limit, if there is any outstanding beyond that, now that is where, basically you lose return on your investment. So which means you land up paying interest to the banker on your borrowed capital, whereas you don't, you give interest free loan to your customer. So is there a way where in your system you can just evaluate, like for example, it is like a what if situation, right? What if this person is not paid me for beyond my credit period for another 30 days or 40 days or 15 days? That 15 days or 30 days, what is the amount of interest that I have lost? So is there a visibility? Maybe probably you might not, and especially during this time, we can't, state to the customer saying that, well, on all your overdue invoice, I'm going to charge interest. But at least, do we have a visibility of the sunken cost that is getting eating up, which means basically this is going to now impact your bottom line, right? So these are the four important aspects that we will see. Now, if you take Tally, when you are creating the party ledger in Tally, so you have this options in Tally. One where you have these options which you see there, which is highlighted. One is, yes, you can specify the number of credit days you can specify. By doing this, what happens every time when you are invoicing to your customer, Tally will automatically pick up the credit number of days, and based on your current date and based on the invoice date and considering the number of days of credit period that you are allowing, you have a report which basically tells you whether these outstanding one is very important thing is that at date on a day-to-day basis, you will be in a position to see that, okay, as on today, what are the monies that you are supposed to collect? As on today, what are the monies that you are supposed to pay? Right. So these things, basically you can assess, and then you get this information. So one, you can specify the credit day. So the credit days, default credit period can be specified. And the next is that, yes, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, if there is any bill that is overdue, can you get a message, or can you get a pop-up which gives you an indication that whether that particular uh, bill that you are doing to the party, is there any outstanding which is normally overdue, right? So these are some small configuration which helps you to have this control. And the third aspect is basically uh, your credit limit. Right. So how do you set up your credit limit? The moment you specify this credit limit, and people who are using Tally, probably you would know that in almost every aspect or every screen of Tally will never, stop the user from moving forward. Now, the only place where Tally will not allow the user to move forward is this place, where the moment you set up a credit limit for a particular customer, and if the outstanding is exceeding, if the outstanding is within the credit limit, or if it is up to the credit limit, and subsequently when you are trying to make an invoice, at that point in time, Tally is going to verify what is your credit limit. It is going to check what is the outstanding balance, and if the outstanding is to the whatever is the credit limit is there, but the subsequent invoice that you are making, in case if that is exceeding the credit limit, including your outstanding amount, Tally is going to give a warning, and then it is going to stop this. So this is where you can specify the credit limit and have better control over your invoicing to the customer and manage the outstanding. So what happens, just in case, this is one area where you will see in this case, the moment you select a particular party, what happens is that if there is if there are any invoice that are uh, outstanding, which are overdue, over and above the number of days credit period that you have allowed. So the moment you select that particular party, so you will see on the screen that Tally actually gives a warning, saying that there is one bill pending of this particular party which is overdue. So this way what happens is, basically now you are uh, better informed. So this is going to help you to decide whether you want to do whether you want to raise another invoice, because already the first invoice is overdue. Whether you want to raise an invoice, or do you want to call up the party, get a commitment of the payment, and then do the invoice. So this helps you to basically take a suitable action which is left to you. Then, so this is one aspect of the control that it brings. The second one is that when you are trying to make an invoice, and uh, if it crosses the credit limit, right? So when you're trying to save, like automatically you will get the message, and this is the message which basically Tally will not allow you to pass any invoice or save the voucher until if it crosses the credit limit. So you will see this here, it crosses the credit limit. And also when you're invoicing, you will see on just below the party thing, it will also tell you what is the credit limit that you have specified, and it will go and look for the outstanding value, and then it is going to give this message, and then it is going to, if it is exceeding credit limit, it is going to halt. It will stop. You cannot save this voucher, or you cannot pass this invoice, and unless you go to the party master and then change or modify the uh, credit limit, right? So this is one aspect where it stops. The second, so once you are managing this outstanding management with your default credit period and setting up your credit limits, so by click of a button, you have an outstanding statement where you will now get party wise invoices that are outstanding, and also you will be in a position to see the overdue bills, by how many days it is overdue. Based on your reporting date, you will see there on the extreme right, it is also going to tell you by how many days this invoice is overdue. Now the next thing, a very important thing, is that basically, if you see in this example, there are two bills of a particular party on the top which I have highlighted, which says it is overdue by 56 days and 44 days. So now if you have to see that what is the loss of interest, or what is the amount of uh, what is the amount that is actually hitting your bottom line. So this is where you can use, Tally has a feature of interest calculation, where you can use that feature, and you can get this information, and it's very easy to configure them. So what happens here is, once you have configured this interest module, so you will see the outstanding statement. Now there is a report where you will see, like for example, you will see this is the report, and once you have configured the interest, it is now going to give you a report saying that these are the amount that are outstanding as on today, and all this amount which are outstanding or overdue, okay, which is crossed the default credit period, right? And these are the amount that are overdue, and as on today, If you see the report is showing on 20th of July 2020. As on that day, what is the amount of interest that you are losing by way of not getting the money from your customer? And I have highlighted one particular party there, like for example, it is Subhash Dealers, and you will notice there is no outstanding amount, but still, there is this interest amount. So what is this? Why even though there is even though there is no outstanding, what is that interest amount that it is showing you? You will see when you click there and see, you will notice that this particular party was supposed to uh, uh, make the payment on 27th of April. So based on his credit period, he was supposed to make the payment on 27th of April. But if you see, he's made the payment on 14th of May, which means between 14th of May and 27th of April, there is a delay of uh, 18 days. There is a delay of 18 days. And for that 18 days, whatever is the rate of interest that you are specifying, in this example, basically I've given 12% interest. So based on the overdue delay, even though you have received the money, but for that 18 days, you have lost an interest amount of 1,635 rupees. So this is what, basically Tally is going to give you, and this will help you to, like again, do a proper due diligence for your customers, and make sure that you are able to get this information uh, by click of a button, and see how you can, like ensure that, the outstandings are collected faster. By doing this, what is the other thing? So like, for example, cash flow management we were talking about. So if you're able to, have a disciplined system of your receivables and payables, then what happens, you have this cash flow, fund flow report which are there. And also there is a very, very interesting report which unfortunately many of them have not, so a couple of them have not even seen this, and many of them are not aware of it. So basically, this particular report in Tally that you get is basically a cash flow projection. So in the cash flow projection, if you notice, right? So what is that you are going to achieve now? Uh, if you have a proper system of receivable and payable management, now these information you will now have reported in your cash flow projection, and you will be on top of your cash flow. You will know exactly on any given day how much of money you are supposed to receive, or on any given day how much of money you are supposed to pay. So both are very, very critical. Then the other thing, you can also, basically you will have a lot of recurring payments or a fixed cost which needs to be, which there is a commitment on a month-on-month basis. How do you bring those information into your cash flow projections so that you get a proper cash flow projection, so that you have a better control or manage your cash flow better? So by doing this, by click of a button, you are going to now get a cash flow projection. Now, this is what basically you're going to see, that it is going to give you from the last date of your voucher entry. It is going to consider the most, the larger part of the portion that it is going to do is basically it's going to see month on month what is the amount that you are supposed to receive from your customer based on your credit limit and uh, the credit period. So it considers that. Similarly, it considers your outflow, which is your vendors outflow, cash outflow. So it brings those information, and now it is going to give you month on month based on your receivables and based on your payables. How does your cash flow look month on month? So you will see here that, like August, September, October seems to be okay, but then, November month, you are getting into a negative situation. So what actions that needs to be done? So this helps you to basically plan your, future cash flow management also. So one is this. The second is, like I was talking about, capturing the uh, recurring amounts, recurring expenses, and recurring payments. So if you are able to do it, like with the help of this Tally's bill-wise detail, you can do a lot of things. If you are taking a loan month on month, if you have to pay this loan, the EMI, you can capture that, month on month what is due, and it is going to pick up, and it is going to say each month what amount is there. And some companies, probably you will have advance facilities for your employees, and you might have to recover those advances on month basis. You could have multiple advances. Now with this bill wage detail in Tally, you can actually manage that, and all those information now you can start capturing. So all those future, uh, one is your EMI payments, and one is your recurring month recovery from your advances and your recurring expenses. If you are able to capture them, you can capture them as a provisional transaction. So which is not going to impact your books of account. It comes as a provisional transaction. And now the best part is when you're now coming to your cash flow, it is going to give you a near perfect cash flow for month on month, for you to now decide and see what actions need to be taken for you to be in a comfortable position. Okay. So these are the expenses which are a recurring fixed cost, which is captured here, which is considered as to be part of your cash flow management. The next, very very critical, one of the, again, the largest carrying cost. Suppose if you take, majority of the businesses, if you take uh, 30 to 40% of the current asset for any company is in the form of an inventory, right? So I'm sure all of us know that, the longer the inventory that we are holding, okay, that much of your working capital is blocked, right? So what are the things that you can do for optimizing your inventory? Like, do you have, like, these are like questions that you need to ask. Do I know what are my items? Let's say you are dealing in some 30-40 items, and you would do you know what items are fast moving, what items are slow moving? Yes, definitely through your operational thing you will know on a daily basis. But then, if you are using a technology, you will get more information by leveraging the technology. So what are the fast moving items, what are your slow moving items, what are your non moving items, and also how long have you been carrying this item? Can I get an age wise analysis? Can I see what are the items that I'm holding for up to 30 days, 30 to 60 days, or 60 days and above? And that basically gives me an idea of what action that I need to take for those material, which is one is non-moving or slow moving, and what strategies I need to apply, what kind of schemes or what kind of programs that I need to bring, so that I can liquidate the stock as early as possible. So that's one aspect. The second aspect, again, very important aspect. Now, these are the measures which basically, if you see, will get into your cost cutting aspect, and also it helps you in your working capital and your cash flow management. So the next aspect, the next question that you need to ask is that which product I have a better margin, which product I have a better GP, or I make an invoice, like for example, today I'm selling to a customer, I'm selling about 10 items in that particular invoice. Do I have a visibility that in this particular invoice, what is the amount of profit that I've made, right? So these are some of the very critical things, especially during this hardship. It is very important for us to have this information of our operations. The next is know your committed supply. So you have committed to various customers with various delivery dates. Do you have a visibility of those committed supplies? And do you basically have the visibility of also your orders that you have placed, so that basically whether you are able to meet up to the commitment of your supplies? The By doing this, what the other aspect of it that you can also take care is that, instead of overstocking your items, so you can also specify a very simple configuration that you can do is, basically you can specify a reorder level. What is the reorder level that you would want to assign to each of the item depending on various factors, right? So that is one aspect of it. Then sometimes what happens, some vendors, they have a minimum order specification. So in that case, you can also specify what is the minimum order. So by doing all this thing, what are we going to achieve? By doing all these things, the most important thing that we are going to achieve is that you are going to have just in time stock, JIT stock you are going to have. Now let us see how you get this information by click of a button in Tally. Your what is the item, what is the stock that you're supposed to order is what you're going to see. And before that, basically this is one example of the profitability. You have your stock items with you, and just by click of a button, it is going to tell you which item you are making, what percentage of GP that you are making, and what is the gross profit that you have earned on those items. And this is one report which basically gives you, so that you can now decide to basically concentrate or stock or deal in those stocks which basically gives you a better margin. So this is one. So you get this answer to which item gives you a better profitability. The second question was that I make an invoice. Did I really make a profit out of this invoice is the next question. You have now, does the software that you are using provides you the solution? Yes. If you see, if you're using Tally, you will have, and I'm sure that most of the software that you are using should have these facilities. Only thing is you have to now start leveraging them. So you come here, and then you will notice here that every invoice that you are making, irrespective of what number of items that you are having, every invoice that you are making, basically you will see that in each invoice, what is the GP, what is the gross profit that you have earned, and what is the percentage of profit that you have earned. The next one is basically about the lean stock or just-in-time stock. So how does this happen? So one is that, again, Tally has a feature of order management, where you can raise your purchase order, and you can raise your sales order also. Now this is where the question that I was talking, do I have the visibility of my commitment? So if you are capturing, see, it might not, like issuing purchase order or issuing a sale order might not be a process in your organization, but by using these features, it gives you a better visibility. So it need not have to be part of your external document that you're going to exchange. So you can capture this information. So by capturing the sales order, basically on what date, what to whom, how much of quantity needs to be committed. At the same time, you will be ordering. So maybe you will be ordering over a phone or whatever it is. But if you are able to just quickly capture that information in this a document called purchase order in Tally, one, you will have a visibility. Okay, you have ordered material with your various suppliers. Now, which item is going to come on what date, right? So whether you are able to match it. So by doing a simple enablement of your purchase order and sale order and capturing those information, you have, this helps you in getting this particular thing called, basically it is going to tell you your reorder status. So how does this happen? So one, if you see it, Tally will take whatever is the closing stock as on your date of reporting. It will take your closing stock, and it will now go and fetch the data from all your purchase order which are pending. So all your pending order related to this particular item that you are now viewing here for your reorder status, it is going to pick up all your purchase order which are pending. It is going to now populate it here in your report. And then it also, what it does, it also now goes to your sale order. Since you have already raised a sale order in the system, it also goes to your sale order, and then it picks up all your committed pending sale order which are there. It could be a partial in both the cases, even in your purchase order, sale order, it could be a full order that is outstanding, or it could be a partial order that is outstanding. Every outstanding purchase order and sale order quantity is captured here. The moment it does that, it is now going to tell you what is the net stock that is going to be available with you. So you will notice that in a couple of things, you are getting a net stock of -2, -1. And now is where, basically you will now specify this reorder level. So you will say, okay, this particular item, I need to reorder when it reaches my stock of 10, right? So basically I should always have 10 number or 5 number, whatever is your reorder level. So when my stock depletes, or when my stocks comes to that particular level, I have to now reorder. So this one, for the first line item, if you are seeing, basically it says your net available is 10 numbers, and it says your reorder level is 10. So that means at any point in time, you need to have 10 stock in your godown or in your showroom, right? So what is the shortfall that is there? The shortfall now is that 6 numbers. So now you can actually, by looking into the report, you can now actually order 6 numbers, because that is the shortfall which is going to allow you to maintain your predetermined or your predefined reorder status, right? And also the next column is basically, it is now going to take your order to be placed, and it will also consider your minimum order quantity. Supposing your shortfall is, let us say, 7, right? But the customers, I mean, the vendor has very clearly said, I am going to, I cannot give in loose. I mean, like, you have to buy minimum one box. A box contain 10 numbers. So in that case, what happens? Your reorder level or your shortfall could be 7 numbers, right? But then, I mean, like, since the minimum order quantity is going to be 10, now Tally is going to take the highest of your uh, shortfall, and the high between your shortfall and your minimum order quantity, and it is going to pick up the highest level. So in this example, if your shortfall is 7 but the minimum order quantity is 10, then Tally is going to tell you, you have to now order 10. So these things basically, helps you to have better control over your cost. Now these are some of the invisible cost or the sunken cost, which you can have a better control over this by enabling the small features that are already there in your software. You can make use of them, right? So what is the next thing that we are going to do? How are you going to be future ready, right? So thankfully today, if you see, there are wide range of technologies that are available, which are free or with minimum investment, which can be uh, can support to accelerate. Basically, you can adopt those technologies which can actually help you to accelerate in your business development. Okay, the best part is, many softwares, they give you free trial period also for a specific period of time, which basically gives you an incubation period to evaluate its utility and see whether these tools or this app would help you in your better control over your operations. And there are so many apps are there. In fact, I was just browsing through the net. I just saw in one of the page where I was visiting, a reliable source, which says there are close to 95 apps and tools or productivity tools that are there, and majority of them, the basic version, are free. So probably this is the right time for you people to make sure that one, yes, definitely see whatever is your business solution software that you are having, whether you are able to leverage all those functions and features or functionalities of that. How can you leverage it and have a better control over your business? Number two, what are the other technology which requires in your operation and your processes and various other things that you can adopt, so that I mean, like, basically this is what will broadly help you to accelerate your business. And we have to remember that necessity is the mother of invention, right? So what are the other learning platforms? So today there is a dearth of information available on the net. So anything that you want to know, and most of this is the technology is so simple that I mean, like, you can do it yourself. We say this DIY, do it yourself. You can do it. I mean, like, any doubt, any question you have, plethora of videos on your YouTube, which basically tells you how to set up. You are just stuck in something else, you just type, you will get the answer. All you need is, you need to have that urge to make sure that you are able to now start embracing the technology. And this is the right time, because I mean, like, you will have enough time. Things are not, still we are not in the normal. We don't know, God help that, I mean, like, how soon we are going to become normal. So start leveraging the time that is available with you, start experimenting, start exploring various things. So what are a couple of e-learning platform? One is, yes, YouTube. One is, yes, a free platform, e-learning platform that is available to you, which you can make use of it. And definitely Google. I mean, you just type top 25 productivity tool in Google. You just type in your Chrome browser, and you will not believe that, my God, I mean, there are so many things which you can use it, and there's nothing high funda, right? Everything is very small, very, even for a small organization, you can make use of these things. So it will definitely going to help you. And yes, there is one very you can say cost effective too. I mean, like online learning portal that is available, which is Udemy, where I mean, like the various uh, you can learn on various subject, from leadership to how to, and you're learning MS Office or learning anything. I mean, like email marketing. You want to do email marketing. You want to know how to build a website. Now, most of the thing is going to available to you on YouTube. In case you are not getting that, I'm sure you will get it, right? So this is one platform where very nominal prices you can basically learn, and then build up the competency for yourself and build the competency for your organization. So my three important mantra, which I would definitely want to tell you, is that it is very critical now that we are awakened of what is going on, and how you can start building or accelerating your business. So awake, arise, and definitely you need to act, right? So see what all the things that you can do with your existing technology that you are doing. There are a lot of things that you can do. Okay, if you don't know, or if you are not enabled, if you are not leveraged, see that how you can leverage this. And finally, to summarize, uh, if you see, I mean, like we will see a new change of the century. We are seeing the new change of the century, that is in fact it's there in front of our eyes. So the best thing that you need to do is embrace the technology, educate yourself, and execute and expand. Before I close the session, I would just want to make and give you a very interesting phrase. Now the phrase is like this: there are three kinds of people in this world: the one who makes things happen, the one who sees things happen, and the one who wonders what happened. Right. So my sincere request to all the attendees and all the MSMEs of our country is that each one of you should be in the first category, where you can make things happen and drive your business to the next level, or like I said, business 2.0, and accelerate your business, and then see how you can grow further, and then how you can be ready for vocal for local, and be competitive in the global market. And never I would want you people to be in the third category, like wonder what happened when everybody is moving forward. Right? So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pugal, for such an informative session. I'm sure it was helpful to all the attendees present out here. We would now like to start with the Q&A session. So
Sure.
we already have quite a few questions lined up with us. So I'll
Okay.
take each question one by one. So the first question is, what are the existing pre-integrated payment options on Tally for receivables?
Um, See, there is no integrated, there is no free integrated payment option. So one is that basically what you can do is, the default Tally does not have any integration with your payment option. But yes, there are, if you see our partners, our sales, service, and implementation partners are there, where you can integrate. Like for example, if you are supplying uh, goods or services on an e-commerce platform, like the Amazons and Flipkarts, right? So the reconciliation is going to be a big challenge to you. The payment received and all the other things. Now, there are some partners or the dealers who are dealing and implementing in Tally. They have come out with a module which can get integrated with Tally, and it automatically does a reconciliation of your e-commerce receivable amount, and the TCS amount deducted, the returns, all those things can be managed. But the default one is basically will give you the report of your outstanding statement. But yes, I mean, you can do it. And also, I mean, just for your information, if you see in Tally, if you're using Tally, in Tally you have something called Tally Shop. So if you just go to the Tally Shop, there are at least about 400 500 plus small customization that are available at, there are some customization that are available at less than 200 rupees also. So you can actually see those things. And many of this, it's called as add-on module. And many of this add-on module you can evaluate, I mean, like you have a 7-day evaluation, or some of them offer 15-day, 30-day evaluation. You can evaluate, and it is very simple. All you have to do is just click a button. It automatically downloads. You have that 7 days of evaluation period. See whether it is going to be useful to you. If it is not useful, it is going to get expired. So these are some of the things that you can actually integrate it with Tally.
Great. So the next question we have is,
Clearer to him.
how can I improve collaboration among employees using technology?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
So the question is, how can I improve collaboration among employees using technology?
Collaboration among, see, one, uh, like for example, there are apps. Like for example, if you want to see the time taken, or if you want to track their activities, there are many apps where I mean, like, I'm sure you must be knowing that people in the sales field who are the who I mean, today though, I mean, like, it is very difficult for people to move out, but then people who are on the field, there are apps that are available where I mean, like, you can actually track. So basically these are some of the examples that I'm giving of collaboration. So you can track your employee through this app, and they can raise an attendance. If they're going and meeting a client, they can actually take a photograph of the meeting with the client, and then they can upload. So a lot of things that are there, which you can use, those apps which are there, which gives you the collaboration with the employees who are on the field. And even in the project, basically you can see how much time each employee is spending on the project. Now if you are using Tally, we have a facility called cost center in Tally, where you can track basically what is the amount of expense. So I'll just give an example. For example, let us say you have 4 or 5 salesperson, and you want to now track each one of them, how much of business they are giving you, and how much of money you are in fact spending on them by way of salaries, by way of traveling expenses, and various other expenses. So what is that you want to achieve? In this case, basically you want to one see is who is a better performer, so that you can actually I mean, like, reward the better performer, or you can evaluate the better performer and you can give them promotion. So one is this. The second is, in Tally you also have a payroll module, where I mean, like, the entire your advances, which I was talking about earlier, your advances and your payroll matter can be taken care within your Tally. So the best part of Tally is that all this module, three major module, which is your financial module, inventory module, and taxation module, and your payroll module, all these four module are integrated. So that means anywhere you are capturing any particular information, all the relevant information would go, and I mean, like, you will get those information in those relevant modules.
Right. So the next question we have is from Mr. Santosh Kumar. He's asking how to manage unwanted cash flows and how to secure and safeguard transactions.
Mm, Unwanted cash flow is basically is the control that you, I mean, like, basically that's your business process that you're doing. Yes. How to control? Yes, you have a security control in Tally. Like, for example, when you're installing Tally, you don't have any security. It's like an open house. But you can have the level of security that you can do is I mean, like, really large, and it is the scope of security is quite vast in Tally. Just to give an example, you can specify that which person can pass what type of voucher. Like, for example, the accounts guy, you want him to pass only sales and, I mean, sorry, only receipt and payment entry, right? The sales department, or the person who's in charge of sales, you want him to pass only sales entry. And also, I mean, like, you can have a restriction for backdated entries also, where a person is passing an entry, and subsequent next day he cannot come back to a previous day entry, and then he cannot go and alter it. So like this, there are a lot of controls that you can bring in managing your data. But controlling expenses, yes, I mean, like one is that you have this credit facility which is there, where you can uh, apply this credit limit on your own self, on your vendor, like how much of credit limit that you want to have when you want to make a purchase. So these are some of the things which helps you in basically controlling your uh, expenses or your cash flow.
So the next question we have is from Mr. Jaideep Juneja. He's asking, how does this integrate with existing ERPs?
uh, okay, so Tally by itself is a ERP, right? So basically it takes care of your for a small and medium organization, it takes care of your accounting requirement, it takes care of your inventory management, it takes care of your manufacturing process. And you have this payroll, you have supposing if you are in job work, if you are a principal company who's I mean, like having job work activity done in your organization, you can track the movement of your inventory through job work. If you are a job worker, then you can actually have a module where you can actually start handling multiple principal companies stock and various other things, right? So this is one aspect of it. Then you can, basically using the payroll and other things, you can have control over all those aspects. Now, if this is not enough, let us assume there are companies, slightly, medium and large companies, where probably you might have a different larger version of ERP in your organization, but you want to port only certain aspect of it. For example, let's say you have an SAP in your company which takes care of your manufacturing process and other thing. Okay, you make a sales invoice, purchase invoice, everything through your SAP. But then for your reporting purpose, for your balance sheet, P&L account, or for your GST purpose, you want to use Tally. Now, Tally has a facility where the technology of Tally is, it can be, you can port the data from a third party ERP software into Tally. And at the same time, you can also, if you want, you can port the data from Tally to a third party ERP. So it is very, very easy, simple, where the data exchange can happen either ways.
Right. So the next question we have is, are there any new versions of Tally ERP in the product roadmap?
I mean, you will see now you must have seen in the past, at least the past 3 years after GST got implemented, literally every 15 days or every 3 weeks, or within a month, you will see a lot of new releases which are coming. uh, so it all depends on, basically, if you see, majority of them happens through due to the external factor of GST changes that are happening. And along with it, there are various other improvements and new features that Tally is bringing. uh, Probably in a month or two, Tally is going to come out with a completely new version of Tally. So probably you can just wait and see. Mostly August or September, we should be coming out with another version. I mean, a newer version of Tally. So those will bring better user experience and other things.
So the next question we have is from Mr. Param Malhotra. He is asking, do you have a solution for restaurants?
Restaurant, so we don't have. Uh, I mean, like, for restaurant, if you say, I mean, Tally will definitely take care of your restaurant thing. Only thing, for example, in a restaurant, the most important thing is the KOT. Now, there is a workaround for you to do a KOT kind of a thing, but like I mentioned, so what is your default Tally, right? So the other thing, like, you can just see on a Tally shop, where there are some partners who have come out with these modules, where you will see a restaurant module, library, colleges, schools. These modules are available, which gets integrated, so that it basically meets that requirement. Like, where KOT is taken care through some customization, or you can use the Tally's feature, which is a slightly a workaround feature.
Right. So we have a lot of personal questions as well. So to everyone who has any personalized question, I would just request you to contact the Tally team directly, and they would be able to answer your question better. And so if you can just put down the details of someone that everyone can contact from Tally for all their personal queries.
Um, I think you can share our Mr. Kiran's or Bimash number.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I mean, like you can mail to them, and whatever is the clarifications, any further clarifications, doubts. Definitely, our team will, the respective team member will get in touch with them if it is related to functionality, features. I mean, like we have people from different department who can definitely help them.
Sure. So everyone, if you have any questions and if you want to get in touch with the Tally team, please make sure you write to me, and I will also make sure that I send the details of their representative in a thank you mail after the session. So thank you so much once again, Mr. Pugal. I think we'll just wrap up the Q&A round now. Anything you would like to say in the end?
So, Corona is a testing time. So, like I said, we need to have a lot of resilience. Instead of reacting to the situation, what I would suggest is that respond to the situation. Technology is going to play a very, very important role. Digitization, we have experienced, we have seen how the technology and digitalization is taking the center stage now, and the new norm because of the social distancing. I mean, like, so this whole financial year is going to be a complete like paradigm shift in the way we are going to do business, the way we are going to socialize and all those things. So whatever is this window period that we have, it is, I would sincerely request that like put out some time and make sure that you are able to able to see what technology that are there which can help your business. Like broadly what I would suggest is that you need to have kind of a budget plan, which I could suggest that it has to be 70, 20, and 10. So 70% of your revenue you have to manage for your business operations. The 20% of the revenue you have to set aside for technology, or you have to invest in technology. And the third 10% of your revenue, definitely you have to invest in your workforce, because I mean, like without them, it is very difficult for you to do it. So I mean, like this if you are following this budget, I'm sure it is going to make all of you future ready. And let's hope next year we are not going to get caught offline like this and struggle. So that's my sincere request to all the attendees and the MSMEs of our country in general.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, sir, once again for being a part of this session. Thank you to all our attendees. We really hope we were able to add some value to our lives through this session. And we will see you again in the episode 2 of our SME series. So please make sure you attend that one as well. And thank you.